Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 11.
The search for a missing woman has a terrible ending. Investigators say they've found her body. Now her boyfriend is wanted for murder.
Hospitals around the country and the CDC are taking a closer look at their Ebola plans after a second nurse is diagnosed with the virus.
Thousands came out to see Hillary Clinton campaign with Allison Lundergan Grimes here in Louisville.
WKYT News at 11 starts now. And good evening. From the beginning, her family feared the worst. And tonight, the search for a missing Pulaski County woman came to a tragic end.
Investigators say they found Monica Wells' body in a sinkhole near her home. She disappeared yesterday after police say she got into a violent fight with her boyfriend. And tonight, that man, Johnny Hendricks, is wanted for murder. WKYT's Jordan Valines has the latest from investigators. It's our top story at 11.
When 34-year-old Monica Wells went missing on Tuesday, her family immediately suspected that her boyfriend, Johnny Hendricks, had either severely injured her or killed her. And on Wednesday, their worst fears were realized. Monica Wells went missing Tuesday after she and Hendricks got into a fight in front of Wells' 8-year-old child. We're told that Hendricks has a history of domestic violence.
He said Johnny slung her against the wall and held her down on the floor and was beating her head in the floor.
Because of the severity of that assault and evidence left behind at the home, Somerset Pulaski County Rescue immediately set out on an aggressive search to find Wells, hoping that they would find her alive and be able to treat her. Unfortunately, on Wednesday, crews found Wells' body uncovered in a sinkhole well about 12 feet deep, a distance away from her home in the Providence Road community. Deputies believe Hendricks killed Wells and brought her body on a four-wheeler from the home where the assault occurred to the sinkhole.
He's acted out of anger at something, and he's exploded on her, caused these injuries to her, and just attempted to dispose of her body by dumping her, probably thinking that she would not be found.
They believe that his brother, 29-year-old Freddie Pennington, witnessed the assault and is now on the run with Hendricks, possibly in the Hazard area since they have relatives there. Deputies believe that the two brothers are most likely traveling in a 1995 black Chevrolet Cavalier. In Pulaski County, Jordan Valines, WKYT.
And the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office says Johnny Hendricks should be considered armed and dangerous.
Tonight, the second healthcare worker to have contracted Ebola in Texas is now being treated in a special infectious disease unit in Atlanta. And we're learning more about that patient. Investigators say she flew on a commercial airplane even as she was becoming ill. Omar Villafranca has the latest.
Amber Vincent arrived in Atlanta from Dallas wearing a yellow hazmat suit. The 29-year-old nurse is now being treated at Emory University Hospital in Atlanta, one of 4 medical facilities specially equipped to treat Ebola patients. Vincent and the other infected nurse, Nina Pham, were part of the medical staff at Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital that treated Thomas Eric Duncan, the Liberian man who died of Ebola last week. Vincent was admitted to the Texas hospital Tuesday, but the night before, she was on Frontier Airlines Flight 1143 from Cleveland to Dallas. She boarded the plane knowing she had a low-grade fever of 99.5. Vincent was one of the healthcare workers being monitored for possible exposure to Ebola for her work with Duncan. So, why was she allowed to fly? The CDC gave its answer to CBS's Dr. John LaPook.
The CDC told me that Nurse Vincent actually called them several times before getting on that plane and said that her temperature was 99.5. But the person at the CDC looked at a chart and saw that she didn't officially meet the criteria for somebody at high risk because she didn't have a fever of 100.4 or above. And so she was allowed to fly.
It was a gap CDC officials say is closed. Vincent's apartment has been decontaminated, and passengers on Vincent's flight are being asked to call the CDC to be monitored. Omar Villafranca, CBS News, Dallas.
Doctors at UK hospitals say they are prepared if someone is diagnosed with Ebola while being treated there. The hospital is putting more emphasis on asking where patients have traveled in the last 3 weeks. Doctors say anyone suspected of having the Ebola virus would be isolated quickly. Any staff member around an Ebola patient would wear bodysuits that offer head-to-toe protection, and they would be trained on how to wear the suits.
The important thing is, putting on the equipment, but most importantly, taking it off, and that does require special training.
Doctors say they have hundreds of these bodysuits ready to go for staff members, and more have been ordered.
Tonight, a possible presidential candidate came to Kentucky to help Senate candidate Allison Lundergan Grimes. Former U.S. Senator and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was the featured speaker at a Grimes campaign event in Louisville. Grimes is running against incumbent Senator Mitch McConnell. WKYT's Jerica Insco has the latest from the campaign trail.
More than 4,500 people came here to the Kentucky International Convention Center in Louisville to see Hillary Clinton campaign with and for Allison Lundergan Grimes. This rally being only 20 days before Election Day. The excitement at Wednesday night's campaign rally was everywhere you looked.
But I've been waiting for 30 years to ditch Mitch, so I'm ecstatic to be here.
And that's what these people want, coming out to support Allison Lundergan Grimes running for Kentucky U.S. Senate, wanting to make a change for Kentuckians in Washington.
Allison's just like a breath of fresh air. We need her bad.
Just like this woman, every person here was here for Grimes.
I think Kentucky has had enough of Mitch McConnell.
And from the sounds of those cheers, they agree, but Grimes wants their help at the polls to make that happen.
I choose Kentucky. I count on you.
But these people tell us they also came to hear from a former First Lady interested in this state.
I am so honored to be here in the closing days of this really significant campaign.
That's right, Hillary Clinton in the bluegrass with a clear message as she stood beside Grimes.
You must send Allison to Washington to get the place in order to deliver for the people of Kentucky.
Both Hillary Clinton and Grimes are pushing for the people of Kentucky to get out and vote if they want to make a change. In Louisville, Jerica Insco, WKYT.
Senator McConnell has said Kentucky would be giving up a lot of influence in Washington if he's denied a 6th term in office. He's currently the Senate Minority Leader. His campaign also released a statement tonight saying Hillary Clinton and President Obama have the same policy views.
Rain, rain, go away. Those chilly showers continue tonight. Looks like you'll still need the umbrella as well tomorrow. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has his nearby. He has an early look at the forecast.
Yeah, sounds like I'm just full of all kinds of good news, Sam. On an ugly day that is wrapping up, most of tomorrow will be similar to what we had today. I say most of it. I'll show you why I'm not convinced the entire day is a washout. Live First Alert Defender as of now picking up on another little round of showers beginning to blow back into central Kentucky, coming at us in waves on Defender. A little bit of a break in the action, but even in those breaks, we're seeing some fog and the occasional misty shower coming through. Little spike up now in the coverage west of Lawrenceburg, west of Frankfort. That's going to roll into central Kentucky over the next few hours. A little drying trend, a brief drying trend into southern Kentucky. Southeastern corner of the state, still some of those leftover showers that we had into central Kentucky a little earlier. Everything kind of turning the corner now, lifting off to the northeast. We're on the backside of that departing area of low pressure, so we're watching the northwestern skies. That low is across the Covington-Cincinnati area. Look at the clouds beginning to break up across parts of the St. Louis metro, getting as close by as far western Indiana. So your Thursday forecast, out the door with some showers, still a scattering of showers around lunchtime. By the end of the day, though, I think we see some peaks of sun trying to break out across the western parts of the area. I'll come back in a little bit and focus on the weekend forecast. It may include a little frost on the pumpkins.
A National Guard soldier from Guam continues to fight for his life tonight here in Kentucky, weeks after being hit by a suspected drunk driver.
Workers at UK Hospital tell us Noel Espino is still listed in critical condition. He was at the beer trap in Lexington last month when police say an SUV hit him and the bar. Father Norman Fisher of St. Peter Claver Catholic Church has been helping Espino's family since that crash. He tells us doctors had to amputate one of Espino's legs and he might lose the other one because of infection. But Fisher says the family hasn't given up hope.
They say that 30% of the people who have ever endured that kind of accident survive, and he's in that 30% to have endured so many breaks and so many just all kinds of damages. So he is amazingly a strong fighter, strong-willed.
Espino is a member of the Guam National Guard. His family has been traveling back and forth from Guam to be with him. Police charged the driver of the SUV a former Lexington firefighter.
Tonight, the search continues for two men police say robbed a Lexington bank at gunpoint. It happened about 4 this afternoon at a Fifth Third Bank on Versailles Road. Police say the two men walked up to a teller, showed a gun, and demanded money. They then ran off with some money. Police say they have a limited description of the robbers. This was the 4th bank robbery in Lexington this month, but police say they're not sure if this is connected to the other ones.
The parents of a former UK football player injured in a fall have started a fund to help pay for medical bills. Brad Durham fell from the upper deck of Commonwealth Stadium during the South Carolina game earlier this month. He's still being treated at UK Hospital and is listed in fair condition. The Brad Durham donation account has been set up at Central Bank. His parents hope Durham will be able to be transferred to Cardinal Hill Rehabilitation Hospital later this week.
A former Central Kentucky assistant principal has been arrested on charges she sexually abused a student.
Police arrested Joy Hayes. She was once an assistant principal at Lexington Traditional Magnet School and Madison Southern High School. At Madison Southern, police say Hayes met the teenager she's accused of sexually abusing. Police say she also stalked and harassed one of the teenager's friends. When Berea police pulled her over yesterday, they say the sexual abuse victim was in the car with her.
She had convinced her to sneak out of the home and come with her.
Most recently, Hayes worked for the Gear Up program at Berea College, but the college fired her last month after learning of the stalking case.
Tonight, police in Winchester are trying to figure out what led up to a train hitting a car. It happened this afternoon at the West Broadway crossing. Winchester police tell us that one person was taken to a hospital in Lexington after the crash, but that person's condition is not known tonight. No other details about the crash have been released. We're learning more about a shooting that injured a Domino's pizza worker in Danville. Police testified today during a hearing for the suspects in the case. Zoe Reed was shot. Police say that she was alone in the store after someone called in a fake order. Police say they were able to ping the phone used in that call, and that linked suspect Patrick Brand. Also in court, another suspect, Robin Adams, admitted she picked up Patrick and Rico Penix the night of the shooting. Police say Reed identified Penix as the shooter. A 16-year-old was also arrested in this case. Reed is still recovering in the hospital.
A moment of silence at Keeneland today for a young jockey who died while racing. Juan Saez died last night after being thrown from a horse during a race at an Indiana racetrack. The 17-year-old was supposed to race at Keeneland today. This afternoon, members of Keeneland's jockey colony gathered in the winner's circle for a moment of silence. Saez had just won his first race at Keeneland last week.
A movie about a Kentucky football player who beat the odds will premiere next week. You're looking at the trailer for 23 Blast. The movie was inspired by Travis Freeman. He played football at Corbin High School during the 1990s despite being blind. Much of the movie was shot in Corbin. 23 Blast will premiere at the Kentucky Theater in Lexington next Thursday night. Will also play in hundreds of movie theaters around the country. Something to see there.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Well, Brian